Hi guys, Jess here. So this is the sketch that we are using for the Kitaholic Kit November Sketch Challenge. So I decided to create a bit of a mixed media background. So I'm using the Craft water-based acrylic paints and I'm thinning those out with just a little dollop of water there. So I'm just making a really runny consistency with the different colours. And I've got 4 different colours that I'm going to use. And once I have made a really runny, watery concoction, I just sort of pour that on, as you can see, and then splat, 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 and make a bit of a mess everywhere. I then left that to dry overnight, and it sort of pooled in different positions because I didn't gesso my paper to start with because I don't own any gesso. So it would probably be a great idea to gesso your paper sort of in the main section where you're going to put the majority of the paint. Then I left the yellow to dry, and then I do the pink, and again, every time I'm just running the paint down to make it a really watery consistency. I'm kind of picking where I pour it, but as you can see, my paper is starting to warp a little bit now, and that is because it is not prepared. The paper is just plain paper. I haven't done any gesso. It's not a watercolor paper. It's nothing like that. It's just a plain cardstock. So you can see that putting this wet watery paint on there does sort of affect the paper a little bit, so do be wary of that if you're having a go yourself. So I left all that to dry, and while that was drying I decided to get this gorgeous Life is Beautiful. It's kind of a cardboard, I suppose, and I knew I wanted to have a play with it and not leave it as is, so here I am just covering it in texture paste. Again, gesso would be a great use here, but I don't own any gesso, so texture paste it is. And I ended up doing 2 coats of texture paste just to make it really quite thick. And I left that to dry as well. It was luckily a cold day in Melbourne, so I had the central heating on, so that quickened the drying time. And now I'm going to paint it with some black of that Craft water-based acrylic paint. So again, just paint all over that. I've just got the little piece of plastic behind so I can make as much mess as I like and it doesn't matter. I found that the coverage was really, really good with the texture paste and the acrylic paint. I'm not even 100% sure I needed 2 coats of texture paste, but I just wanted to, have it as good as possible, I suppose. Once that I've covered everything there and made sure it was all wet, I then got some really fine black glitter and I sprinkled the black glitter on. And I was quite liberal. I really wanted the whole thing to be covered in glitter, so I just covered as much of it as I could and again left that to dry. So this was a little bit of a process. I did come and go, which really does suit me well with my son needing so much attention. If you wanted to just sit down and do this all in one go, perhaps one of the heat guns that you can use for an embossing tool would be handy. So yeah, you can see sort of a little bit there that it's nice and glittery. It worked really, really well. I was super happy with how that turned out. So then I've got my dry piece of cardstock and I'm just deciding which way I want the paint splatters to be. I didn't want a super huge paint splatter of the pink. I wasn't happy with how the pink looked, so I kind of wanted to cover it a little bit. Such a gorgeous colour, but it just didn't splatter well, so it ran when I poured it on, and anyway, I wasn't very happy with it, so I thought I would cover it a little. And then I started to have a play with my title and realised that the picture needed to be backed. I was not happy with it just straight onto the card. So I got 3 different colours of cardstock in the complementary colours, again out of my kit. So you can see there I've got the sort of mauve or lavender colour. And I just did really, really thin outlines. So super duper thin, but just enough to accent, I suppose, the colours that I'd splattered in the background because they were essentially matching. The pink didn't match, but I was doing my best try. So yeah, you can see I've got the 3 different colours there. I've got the teal and the yellow and the lilac. So once I have those matted onto the back of the picture, I then go on to the embellishing and the title. I thought I was following the sketch really, really well when I was creating this, and I know that there's no right way or wrong way to copy a sketch, but when I looked at the sketch again later after I'd finished my layout, I realised I'd actually not really followed the sketch that well at all. It was good, it's fine, but, you know, the majority of my colour being in the centre was not what the sketch said. The sketch says it's up the top. But that's what I love about sketches. You use the sketch to be your idea starter, your inspiration, and then you just roll with it and do whatever you feel like. It's taken me a long time to really know how to use sketches, and I still will quite often follow a sketch like to the T, because I can sometimes get really, really stuck, and I just need something just to copy. And obviously sketches don't have colours, or this one did a little bit, but in general don't have colours, so I get to use my own ideas of what colours I want it to be, and if I want to use mixed media and things like that. But it just helps with placement and, you know, not having to think too hard about what I'm scrapbooking and just sit and do it. So I quite like that. So you can see I've popped on my title, Our Life is Beautiful Together. And now I'm just having a play with the embellishments. So this month's kit had an embellishments pack, and it is the Take Me Away by Pink Paisley. And we also had a cut apart sheet that had been created especially for the kit. So I think I end up using more of the cut apart sheet than I do of the Pink Paisley, but it's all beautiful. So there I'm playing with fake sequins, basically. They're part of the cut apart sheet, and they took a little bit of time to cut out, but I thought they looked really cool with this layout. I actually went to the effort of getting a pin and popping a pin through the middle of the pretend sequin, so it looked a little bit more like a sequin. That little embellishment there said so funny, because you can see my little man thinks he's hilarious. Now that he's learned to be right up high on his tummy and suck on the things hanging over his head. I'm just using PVA glue to glue on all the little fiddly things. I didn't want to be bothered with double-sided tape for those. That would have just been too hard. But I do use double-sided tape a lot. I ended up using double-sided tape for the Life is Beautiful, and that was really tricky. I probably would have been better using glue, but it's on there now. All smiles, because he was super happy. So yeah, as you can see in this picture, this is a little bit old now. He's sitting up by himself, crawling, pulling himself up on everything. He's a maniac. He's going to make life very, very interesting. But in this picture, he's only just worked out that he knows how to roll over onto his own tummy, and he is just so proud that he can get over onto his tummy and reach up and pull on those animals that previously had dangled in front of his face and he couldn't get to them. So he's a very happy little man, and I'm very lucky to have him. Anyway, back to what I'm doing. So I've just glued on a glittery mauve heart or lavender heart, and there was a tag that I decided to make into a banner, and I just cut it in so it had the pointy banner ends on it. It says happy, 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 because he just is, and he makes us so happy. Doing a little bit of pack up. I thought I was finished, and then I saw this yellow one that I thought was super cute. I knew that bottom corner where the so funny is, I just wasn't happy with it. It just wasn't quite done, and I wanted to do something else. And then I found the yellow one, and the little yellow one, I know you can't see it, it says Pure Sunshine, because he is our pure sunshine. So corny, but so true. And then I've got some tiny word stickers, and those tiny word stickers are the Maggie Holmes tiny word stickers. And they're great. I really liked those. They were cool. Can't wait to use more of those. And I've used the ones that say, big smile, you are great, and let's have some fun. So then I thought I was finished, and I started packing up again, and then I looked at it and went, no, still not finished. It needs something else. And I realised beside me I have a little baggie of tiny little hearts that are super cute, and they're pink, and a little bag of purple sequins. So I chose to pop on the purple sequins, and I went a little bit sequin crazy and put those in a diagonal line starting in the bottom right corner and going up into the top left corner, so diagonally straight across the page there. And then I was happy, and then I decided I'd finished. So there are a few close-up pictures of the finished layout and how that turned out. I hope you liked it. As I said, this was the November Kitaholic Kit. Oh, I'm not sure why that looks like that. Sorry, there's not wrinkles in the page. It just looked funny. Check out the Kitaholic Kit page as well on YouTube if you're interested. Like and subscribe, and catch you guys later.